and giving us an opportunity to launch this report. The electricity security matters more than ever, as our executive director pointed out in his remarks. Next, please. Next slide, please. Yes. For more than a century, the power sector has been based on centralized dispatchable systems. Big rotating mass in power plants provide inertia for stability. Vertically integrated utilities have built and controlled systems with central planning. Flows of energy and communications go in one direction with closed communication networks. One click, please. This landscape is changing very fast. Power systems are increasingly decentralized with higher share of distributed and variable renewables and the multiple actors that intervene in wholesale markets. Empowered consumers or the prosumers become part of the supply side. Energy communications flow in two directions among complex set of players and facilities and devices, expanding the surface of cyber attacks. All this happens in the context where the changing climate patterns are already affecting demand patterns and supply infrastructure. That is why the IEA has decided for the first time to approach these three aspects: transitions with higher variable renewables, cybersecurity, and climate resilience at the same time in a single report. Next, please. The left-hand chart shows massive growth in electricity demand toward the 2040 by 50% to 40,000 terawatt hours in the World Energy Outlook. This growth happens both in steps, the stated policy scenario, which reflects the current policy ambitions of the governments, and in the sustainable development scenario, SDS, which shows what would be needed to achieve climate and other sustainability goals. Most of this growth will be supplied by variable renewables, solar PV and wind. Capacity growth on the right hand shows this trend even clearer. Today, in spite of the rapid growth in wind and solar, dispatchable power plants have still a dominant share in generation and provide flexibility to integrate a minor portion of wind and solar in yellow. In the future, whichever path the energy systems follows, growth will come dominantly from variable renewables when flexibility from conventional power plants declines. What needs to be done, first of all, is to make the best use of the flexibility from existing dispatchable power plants by market design improvements to reward this flexibility, as well as careful planning of decommissioning. Going forward, new sources and methods for flexibility and stability must be pursued. To achieve low carbon pathway, such flexibility sources should also be as low carbon as possible. Next, please. Power systems need large investments to increase low carbon generation and assets to enhance the flexibility of the system to integrate more variable renewables. In reality, however, investments in power sector has been declining even before the COVID-19. Staying much lower than what is required for steps, let alone SDS. The chart on the right hand from the World Energy Investment 2020 shows the significant declines in investments in grids, which is particularly worrying. The drastic growth in electricity needs and change in generation mix in the previous slide clearly shows the strong requirement for expanded, more robust, well-connected, and smarter grid networks. However, the current investment trend is far lagging behind from it. Moreover, financial health of utilities has worsened further this year due to the COVID-19 crisis. There are notable exceptions. The spending on grids has increased in the United States with policies to enhance network resilience and reliability. Next, please. Besides energy, the secure operation of the power systems requires adequate remuneration of other system services, including capacity to meet peak demand, flexibility to ramp up and down as needed, and stability of the system. This is an example of an ASEAN region with a big role for hydro. Today, on the left-hand side, different contributions to these services are not so stark. Contributions in stability, flexibility, and the peak capacity are basically well aligned with the amount of energy. Going forward, the gap among these services will become much wider. This implies that the remuneration based just on the sales of electricity in kilowatt-hour terms would contribute less and less to the remuneration of assets such as flexibility, and the peak capacity. New technologies will be needed as well. Dark blue on the right-hand side, this dark blue in these charts showing storage in 2018 is dominantly the pumped hydro power plants. Storage in 2035 and beyond will include battery storage, for instance, as major elements. Will the system reward such new technologies as well enough? So that's a key question. Markets and investment frameworks need reforms to reward assets and technologies, including interconnected grid networks, storage, demand-side response to provide all required services to power systems. Australia, Ireland, and Chile are good examples of countries adapting their market design to achieve this. Next, please. Electricity system has been increasingly digitalized and will be more so with clean energy transitions. This brings many benefits. However, increased connectivity and automation with rapid growth of connected devices expanding the cyber attack surface of the electricity systems. This surface is no longer limited to assets of traditional electricity industries, but all those of new segments like demand aggregators, connected IoT devices, and electric vehicles. A successful attack to one or more segments could cause great physical damage and widespread service disruptions. Some countries have adopted a comprehensive strategy to address the cybersecurity risks in power systems. Next, please. With ongoing climate change, the entire electricity value chain, generation, transmission and distribution networks, and end use, consuming sectors, will be impacted by, first, the rising temperature, second, more volatile precipitations, third, sea level rise, and finally, the extreme weather events, leading to potential loss in capacity, lower efficiency, higher and different demand patterns, and physical damages. Climate resilience should be fully incorporated in energy and climate policies by governments. Among the 38 IEA family countries, only 17 countries have included concrete actions for energy sector resilience to climate change in their national adaptation strategies or plans. Among those, strategies and plans of only 6 countries cover full electricity supply chains. Next, please. So drawing on good practices by countries, this report provides a set of recommendations for institutional frameworks that establish clear responsibilities, incentives and rules, measures to identify, manage and mitigate risks, and protocols to monitor progress and respond and recover, including through the emergency response exercises. The report also provides concrete examples of policy best practices from all continents that can provide inspirations for other countries developing adequate electricity security policies. Next, please. So in conclusion, I would like to thank the countries contributing to the IEA in this area. IEA will do more on electricity security on key priority areas of greater and timely investments in flexibility, market design, digitalization, and cyber resilience, and climate resilience. And also, one area of focus is cooperation with emerging economies through the Clean Energy Transition Program. Here, I would like to thank several donor countries, notably the European Commission, the United Kingdom, and Denmark, for their support. IEA has advised and will advise many countries in Asia on secure renewable integration and organized many countries' events with funding by many countries. IEA has also initiated a major project on smarter digital power infrastructure to enhance the energy efficiency, resilient power systems, and energy transitions with funding by Italy. And IEA will continue to be at the heart of international cooperations with more analysis and best practice sharing. Thank you for your attention.